right, welcome everyone. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Juan Mondel and I am the Director of CONCAT Global Initiatives. And we're here today to kick off our Study Abroad informational session, one of many, hopefully. But we just wanted to give you a welcome to the event. CONCAT Global is in charge of all the international opportunities here at the Cronkite School. And in addition to working with study abroad and internships abroad, we try to internationalize the school through many activities that include opportunities with curriculum, with research, mobility for faculty. And we also manage a number of grants that are brought to us by the US State Department that allows us to have international students here on campus that help you get an international and intercultural perspective. So the purpose of the session today is briefly to introduce you to the number of programs that are going to be available in summer 2022, and also to give you an opportunity to start thinking about what might be available as well for 23 if you're planning on doing a study abroad session later on. So with that, I'm going to keep my introduction very brief and actually introduce Karen Borderloh, who is the Director of Career Services here at the Cronkite School and my partner in crime in making some of these things happen. So
it is
Karen.
crime. It is crime. All right. So I think how I'm going to lead this, there are so many opportunities, globally, and it's pretty new. So we've done some study abroad before, but Juan has kicked it up 100 notches, which is great. So you have a lot of opportunity to go to different places and we're working on new ones. I'm just going to talk to you basically about the internship, the international internships, because career and professional development, we do internships domestically, but now we've expanded to international. And so these guys on this podium with me were the first cohort or among the first cohort to do an international internship abroad, which was last summer in Argentina. And so I'll talk a teeny bit about that, but they're going to talk a lot about it. Anyway, so why would you want to do an internship internationally? Well, there's a bunch of different reasons, okay? First of all, you're going to get credit for JMC 484. As long as you have the prerequisites to do it, you can do it abroad and get the credit. And it's sort of achieving two goals at once. So you get the JMC 484 credit and you get study abroad experience all at once, and you get to immerse yourself in another culture. You're able to include international work on your resume, which is huge. So I want you to think about this. Say you have, I don't know, broadcast experience and photography experience, and you've worked for a newsroom or something, but then say you can also put that you've done it internationally. In addition to that, it sets you apart from everybody else who's looking for that same job, right? Because you have more of a global scope because you've lived in another place. It's very cool. And then also you get to learn about another culture, not just through the touristy things, those are great. And these guys participated in some of that, but you actually live it. Okay. So you understand when there's a water crisis somewhere, or you understand, I don't know, just there's so many different things that you will learn that it's very different from your experience in the United States. And then you get to create lifelong friendships, and not just American friends who were there with you, but also friends in other areas. And I'm pretty sure Nick's going to talk about, his experience with that. So anyway, so the overview of international internships that are coming up. One is we will do it again in Argentina. Next summer, it will be from May 15th to July 29th. Another 11-week program, very similar to the one that they had. And they'll talk to you a little bit about all the cool things that they were able to do, like go to the north for 4 days and horseback riding and, you name it. And I think, didn't you guys learn how to do the salsa or tango or something, right?
Yeah, we had a bunch of different dance classes. It was really cool. It was 3 or 4 through the first month we were there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. So just, some really cool interesting things. And then you also get with that, besides the 3 credits for the JMC 484, you also get 3 credits. You will be getting 3 credits for another course that they'll be able to provide you with. And you also get I think it's beginner Spanish. Some of you are now immersed, and I think you're fluent in it, but beginner Spanish too, so that you know how to get around. And then next summer, the summer of 23, we will also be doing an 8-week internship, an international internship in Berlin. So anybody ever been to Berlin? Because it is the coolest city on the planet, I can tell you. I love that city so much. And I want to go, but I don't know if they're going to let me. But anyway, probably not, but whatever. It's such a great city. And you do an internship for 8 weeks and you also immerse in the culture and learn about the history of Germany and particularly Berlin. And then in the fall of 2023 and in the spring of 2024, we're working on, okay, a 12-week international internship in both Berlin and in Dublin. So you would choose one or the other, but it would be 12 weeks. So the Dublin one, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about the language so much, but the accent is amazing. So you might have to interpret that way, but whatever, it'll be a really cool experience. And then another one too that we're working on is this is a partnership with Televisa, which is a major international television organization. And this is based in Mexico City. We're working on one that would provide internships for part of the spring semester, we think, for 4 bilingual students. So you have to speak Spanish in order to do this internship. It's a broadcast internship, but it will be very, very cool. And you'll be living in Mexico City. And then that's it. I think that's what I have to say. But I'm excited about the opportunities that we're creating for you guys. And I really hope you take advantage of them.
Good, thank you, thank you. So now let's move on to introducing some of our students who participated in the internship program in Argentina. And with us, we have Miles Aronson, Nick Elsner, Brendan O'Keefe, and Gabriela Reinaga, who all went to my alma mater where I did my BA. So it was really funny and really nice to see them in my old stomping grounds when I visited them in Córdoba. So welcome, and if you can please walk us a little bit through who you are, what you're studying here at the Cronkite School, and then what was your internship like, the company that you were working with, and kind of an overview of what were some of the things that stood out with you throughout the 11 weeks that you were in Argentina.
Hey guys, my name is Nick Elsner. I'm a junior here at the Cronkite School. I'm a sports journalism major with a minor in business. In my time in Argentina, I was a business development and business communications intern. I kind of chose to do that. So taking all the skills that we learned in journalism through communication and kind of applying them into the business side and community down there, it was really cool. I was with this entrepreneur. His name was Federico Ferral. And he had a peanut company. That was like mainly what I was helping him with. And so day to day, I would go with him to meetings, whether it was prospecting new clients or whether it was with existing clients. And we would go and sit in meetings and they would negotiate. And it was all in Spanish. It was an amazing opportunity to learn and grow. And I mean, to be doing that for 3 months was extremely beneficial for me culturally, for me in the business setting, and also just with learning a language. It was truly an amazing experience.
Okay, it works. Hi everyone, I'm Gabriela. I'm a senior here at Cronkite, and I'm studying journalism with an emphasis in PR. When I went to Argentina, I was working with a startup small technology company called Matec, which is run by Patricio, Camila, Facundo, and Emmanuel. So what I got to do was work on their social media, communication stuff, graphic design, just anything internal, external branding. It was really fun. It was definitely different because I was working from home most of the time. But I was also zooming in with them in like meetings. I got to work really close with the CEO. So it was really fun. I think what I took from this whole experience is a different culture. You learn a lot. I tried very delicious food, made some very great friends, and also Argentinian friends. And it's different.
Hello, I'm Miles. I'm a senior here. I'm a sports journalism major. And down in Argentina, you're really thrown into like a new environment that you haven't really experienced at all. And just that whole new worldview that you get immediately landing there and understanding how things work and trying to find your way around the town is just something special. And I think everyone should eventually, whether it's a study abroad or just traveling somewhere, should experience that in their lifetime. For me, I was working with a very small company called The Office Production. They worked out of this, like a small house, basically, with a bunch of laptops and computers. And what they were a production company where they would go out to different shoots, let's say like a car commercial, and they would use high quality cameras, drone footage, and they would shoot these car commercials, take maybe 4 or 5 hours of footage, come back to the studio and spend the next like 2 days editing those footages and sending them off to companies. So I really got to see like the behind the scenes of what goes into the production of like media for commercials and advertisements and stuff like that. And just being there and watching them work and in that environment where it's completely different from here in the United States was just amazing. I was also given the opportunity to interview, because I'm a sports journalism major. I had a couple interviews with some Olympians and some famous athletes down there in Argentina. And just to be able to talk to them. And one of the persons I talked to was Georgina Bardach, who is a Olympian swimmer. That whole interview was in Spanish. So I got to really immerse myself in the culture in terms of needing to understand how things worked like right away, understand the language and make my way around. And so those interviews and just my time in Argentina was just incredible.
My name is Brendan O'Keefe, and I'm a journalism and mass communication major. I'm kind of focusing on digital marketing and, digital media. So for me, my internship was with a company called Gerdulich, which is a top digital marketing firm in the Cordoba area down in Argentina. And what I really liked about that experience is having done my professional program just before that summer, last semester, I was in the digital audiences lab. I was able to continue doing what I was doing in there, from Google Ads, SEO, paid media, all sorts of different things, and continue to expand on those skills. And obviously, like Karen said earlier, if you have, that international experience on your resume, it's really going to help you stick out. Being able to work in a foreign environment with a foreign language, especially. I mean, like any job interview, the stereotypical question is like, describe a problem you've experienced and how you overcame it. And so if you could be like, well, I'm not fluent in Spanish and I went to a Spanish speaking country for my internship this summer. I mean, it's very reliable. Definitely something to keep in your arsenal. Yeah, I got to help Miles with interviewing multiple Olympic athletes, just a bunch of very awesome opportunities outside of work. We traveled Buenos Aires, Jujuy, all sorts of different areas.
Mendoza.
Yes, Mendoza, of course. Can't forget Mendoza. Horseback riding in the foothills of the Andes Mountains. I mean, just a bunch of super cool things. And I mean, coming into Cronkite, I did not plan on studying abroad. I didn't see the point of it because of what I was studying, what I wanted to do career-wise. And then my parents were like, hey, you should study abroad, because my mother studied abroad when she was in college. And so I found out about this program and I just kind of went with it, and super glad I did. So I definitely recommend everyone should study abroad, with that being said, because it's just such a cool experience. You can't even really put it into words how valuable it is.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. So Karen, do you have any particular questions for the students about the internship that they did?
Yeah, so, okay, so let's just be real here, because, an internship, well, not just the internship, but even an experience abroad, this is what I tell students who want to do it. For the first 2 weeks, it's going to be like, oh my God, what did I just do? I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe this is happening to me. I don't even know, how to get a bus. I mean, I don't know anything. And then, it's like a panic. And it's okay, because everybody feels that way. So don't worry about it, so just know that everybody goes through that, except for Nick, probably, who just like, you know what, I can do this. But most people go through this. I just think, you just hang on. And I tell you this because my daughter years and years ago studied abroad in Spain. And that was exactly the first phone call I got. I don't want to go home. No, you're not. You're staying exactly where you are, and it's going to be great. And now she's fluent in Spanish, and she was a high school teacher, a Spanish high school teacher for many, many years. So the point is, it will get better, right, really fast. And then within, 3 weeks, you're going to be so thrilled that you're there, and you're going to, it's like one, you accomplish one goal at a time, like, oh, like I learned how to, navigate this or that or the other thing. And then it just sort of becomes part of you. And that's really kind of the wonderful thing. So, so that said, Be honest, like, so what scared you and how did you overcome?
So I can start this one off. I actually did have that moment, Karen. I was sitting in me and Brendan were roommates in Cordoba. So we had like 2 people to each host family. So Brendan and I had a wonderful host family of Julia and Alberto. They were amazing. They were more like host grandparents, but it was still really awesome. Julia was an amazing cook. And they were very supportive, and the conversations at the dinner table were all in Spanish. So for Brendan, I think he'll tell you a little bit about his experience there. But I came to Argentina. I'm from Philadelphia originally, so coming out here to college was already like a jump. And I'm kind of an independent person, so I like to try new things. But I definitely sat in my bed the first night, and I was like, "What am I doing? Like, where am I?" Like, I didn't know the place. I just wanted to go to Argentina. It was a bucket list item. So I got down there, and you kind of start to navigate, like Karen said, you figure out where exactly you are. It took me about a week to like figure out how the roads work down there. We would take the bus every day. I actually wasn't the first person that figured that out. We had some pretty awesome people in our cohort, so it was pretty cool. Yeah, Miles and JC. JC is our friend from Texas Tech. He actually just visited us over the weekend, so that was really cool. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, the people that you meet, everybody's there is nice. Everybody there was willing to help and wanted to help. And all you had to do was ask. And so people are going to be there for you. And I mean, that was the coolest part for me, was the more we learned, the more fun we could go have, because we were able to go ask more people, meet new people, and then those people eventually turned into friends, because everybody understands that you're not from there, and they want to show you their favorite spots. They want to show you their favorite food, their favorite activities and things to do. So it was really an awesome way to get integrated into the culture by just going up to someone, introducing yourself and saying hi. And so that was what we did, or what I did. And that's what helped me get through it. And I mean, the time flew. It was awesome.
I want the others to answer this too, but I just wanted to sort of jump in here and let everybody know you're not there by yourself, by the way. Okay. So there's a support system there. Not only have your host families, been vetted, but there's a counterpart. My counterpart is there too. And Jose and I would have a meeting every Friday on Zoom, I'd ask everything from, is so-and-so still having headaches? Like, what's going on? I mean, like, he knew everything, and it was so great. So, and one of the things that he told me early on, he goes, I think everybody, these kids are bored. And I'm like, okay, so we need to call the internship employers, and we need to tell them to kick it up a notch, because they're Cronkite students after all. Give them harder work. And so he did, and that actually helped the situation. So anyway, we are still with you on this side of it when you're in an international internship. Just wanted to say that. Okay, you guys.
Something that I was nervous about, afraid of, was obviously the transportation. It's hectic. The bus is hectic. I think they all know. I did get homesick like the first week or two, just because I got sick during that time. And when I'm sick, I like to go to my mom. And so my mom wasn't there. So it was definitely different. But my host mom, really, her name was Ale. She took on that role as being like my mother, kind of like my grandmother.
Excuse me, and I went around getting you COVID tests
Oh,
around
yeah.
the entire city and spreading them around. So give me some credit, at least, some credit.
But it was definitely you do get homesick, but you get over it, you get used to it, you meet new people. I had a roommate from Colombia who was also studying at the university where we were, and she introduced me to all of her friends, and then their friends, and then I introduced them to her friends, and we just all became this big group of friends who would always go out together, go on trips together. So yeah, it's hard, but you get used to it after a while.
I definitely think the support system's there for you to succeed. And if you have troubles adjusting to the new environment, there's people you can go out to and reach out, especially the people that you traveled with. You can connect with them and talk with them and see how they're doing. I think for me, a huge thing in terms of adjusting for the environment, I think I really adjusted quickly, because I arrived there with my roommate, JC from Texas. We got to the house, and there was already 2 students around my age, about a year or 2 older than me, one from Mexico, one from Colombia, Frank and Jean, who were already living there for about 2 months already. So they spoke English, not amazing English, but they spoke English.
It was fluent.
Yeah. And they were the ones that showed me the bus system, me and JC. First day I was very hectic. I was like, okay, trying to figure out the ins and outs of how to get around and what the environment was like. But to have them there and to have them immediately show me things around them, things that they already learned when they were here was incredible to have. I didn't think I was going to have more than just JC as my roommate, but then I get to the house and it's a full house. They have kids running around. They have a wife and a husband, and then JC was there. We had a packed house. Every dinner was a lot of people. Every single conversation was in Spanish. And just like Gabby said, we were able to connect with them, their friends who had been there for a while, and meet up with the locals. And at first, like, conversation with the locals and those friends that we met became our lifelong friends, and continued every weekend or every day that we didn't have an amount of work on us to go out with those guys and spend time with them, which was incredible. I've actually was fortunate enough to meet a bunch of people there, and everybody I met was willing and kind enough to offer a place to stay if we ever came back. I think everybody I met was like, hey, if you ever come back, you can stay in the spare bedroom I got, or you can stay here, you can stay there. I think everybody offered a place to stay if we ever came back. And I actually am going back in December, just because there's more I want to see. And I feel like I didn't have enough time there. So I plan a trip and I go back in December.
Yeah, for me, I think the biggest initial obstacle was the language barrier. My Spanish foundation was, quite frankly, paled in comparison to that of Nick, my roommate. Obviously Gabby, she's fluent in the language. I remember, like, the first weekend we were there in Cordoba, we went to the mall, the three of us, and I walked into a store by myself, and the lady she just greeted me like, buen dia, como te va, like very commonplace greeting. And I was like, what did she just say to me? And so I froze. I just stared at her. I was like, oh, hey, gracias, And then she said something else, like, probably, can I help you or something? And I just, like, 180, just walked out. So it took a while to, be able to have conversations without saying, oh, como, okay, que dijiste, like every other sentence. I remember when we went to Buenos Aires, me and one of the other people on the group, we had gone down to get dinner, and there was this woman there from Switzerland who did not speak any Spanish. And I was able to basically be the translator for this woman and the cashier at this restaurant. And so once I was able to, successfully be the translator, I was like, all right, like, I'm not, like, I got this Spanish thing, like, I can hold my own now. So that was a very rewarding moment. And yeah, I mean, I should probably say something about all the people we met, because everyone else did. But I mean, there's so many other people your age that are going to be wherever you go. I mean, you have projects abroad, you have, the host university. There were students from Clemson. They've had a long running program at Blas Pascal, the host university, then Cordoba. So it's very easy to meet people who have been there longer than you. So if you're scared about, what do I do? What is there to go see? What are the, the social customs, for example? There's definitely going to be someone there who can help you with
Plus, you
that.
guys had peer, right? You had peer mentors, basically,
Yes.
who were connected there. Can you talk a little bit about your experience at the university? Because I know you did your internship pretty much in the morning till like 1 o'clock, and then you had some time free. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. At the university. So during the mornings, we had our internship, and that was until during the week, that was until 1 p.m. So then after that, you have lunch at the university, and you have your classes as well.
We took a history class and we took a Spanish class. And each one was honestly, I think we all enjoyed every single class, and the professors were extremely nice and comforting. And if you didn't understand something, they were able to help you through it. We actually ended up learning a lot, and Jose was our teacher for the history class. And that was one of my favorite classes. And the fact that he came on some of our trips with us, especially to Jujuy, that was one of my favorite trips to experience the culture there. To have him by our side and to be explaining things that we didn't know at the time or couldn't really understand, to have him there to explain that was so helpful. And it was very incredible.
They also had like extracurricular activities, like the dance classes, like the tango, reggaeton. I forgot the other ones. Salsa, bachata. The square one, I don't remember.
They also had a Phopia event, which was an event where they had journalists come down to the school and talk about their experiences of covering stuff abroad. And I'm from Ukraine originally. I was adopted and brought here to the States, and they had journalists that were from Ukraine that were in there covering the war that was going on. So it was very cool to hear them come to Argentina, come to the school and speak about their experiences covering a very difficult subject as the war in Ukraine is.
So we have to start wrapping up, but I have a brief last question for you guys. What was the thing that you weren't expecting in Argentina that you came to find out while you were there? And let me tell you guys, I came to the States as an exchange student, and my favorite feeling that I miss now after being here for so many years was the opportunity of learning something new every day. Either a new word that you didn't know before, what it meant or how to say it, or a new cultural element that surprised me. So what was it that stood out with you?
That's a really good question, Juan. I think that for me, it was to see, so Argentina, if you guys don't know, is in a terrible spot economically. They're experiencing like 90% inflation this year, and it's very sad. But it was to see that the people didn't care about their money. They were still going to get together with their families every weekend and have an asado, which is like a barbecue, and they'll invite their neighbors over and their friends, and everybody just kind of forgets about what's going on in the world, in their economy, and they kind of just let it go and hang out and just be people. And to me, that was what really stood out, because here in America, we get caught up in a lot of materialistic things, and money matters a lot more than it does in other places in the world. And so to kind of take a step back from that and get a different perspective was really, really cool and really awesome for me.
I think for me, coming from like a Latin household, it was kind of like home. It was interesting though, because their slang is different. My parents are from Mexico, and I went to Argentina, and they're like, "What are you saying?" So I learned different Argentinian slang. Another thing is people there are really, really nice. Like you can go up to anybody and ask for help. They will definitely, like when you first greet them, they're not like a handshake. It's more like a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Like it's just so nice. Like I felt like home, and I don't know. I do miss that. Yeah.
People were awesome.
It was like the second week we were there, where people we met, the locals and the friends we hung out with the rest of the time, second week we were there, they were already offering us when we came back places to stay. It's like the generosity of everybody there was incredible. I think for me, the biggest thing I realized was, especially in the work setting, how relaxed it is compared to anywhere here in the United States. I mean, there would be days where I'd wake up and I wouldn't know if I'm going to work or not, because I'd have to text my boss and I'd be like, "Hey, are you in the office today?" He'd be like, "No." And I'd be like, "I will. There's no work today. I'll just work online." And so it was always like it's almost like a spur of the moment. Like they just let things happen. Nothing's really extremely planned out, which I thought was very different to see than what I was used to here in the States.
Yeah, I mean, kind of what they said. People in general, they're very nice. Random strangers on the street are very kind and outgoing toward you. As far as the workplace environment goes, it's a lot more laid back. It's, people joke around. It's a lot less serious. People play music, while they work. Right. I mean, I'm kind of surprised how people in my internship even got work done, but they did. It was a great experience. Yeah, I mean, like they said, people are just very nice, very outgoing.
Thank you. Well, thank you to our student panelists for being here, for being actually the first ambassadors to go. So congratulations. And if you have any questions for them, their social media is easy to find, although it's not up there, but it's easy to find.
My name, you guys got it.
Yeah, and please email Cronkite Global or Karen's office if you have questions about the upcoming internships. We're going to give you more information now with our student ambassadors from the Global Education Office.
They will have a link, right? That you guys have a Google form that people can fill out. If you get the link, I know we just added that this morning.
Good, good. So more information to come. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Go study abroad. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
All right, so now help me welcome our panelists from the Global Education Office, who are going to give us more information about our programs. So welcome.
Thank you. We're gonna stand at the side. All right. Do you control the presentation? Okay, back there. Perfect.
Hi, everyone. My name's Amelie. I am a junior here at ASU, and I studied abroad in Lyon, France during my entire sophomore year. So I did a partnership program with the Global Education Office, and we'll talk a little bit about what partnership means. But now I work as a peer advisor in the Global Education Office, so I can work with any of you guys to help get started on your study abroad experience.
Hi, everybody. My name's Ayushi, and I'm majoring in business data analytics. I actually did 2 study abroad programs, but they were in high school. I actually went to Italy and Russia, which was really amazing. Yeah. And I'm also an international student here from India. So like you said, like being in a new country, it's like first few weeks, you're like, what am I doing here? So I remember when I came to Arizona, it was like December 28th, and it was so hot. And I was like, wait. So yeah. Can we change the slide? Yeah, they got it. Okay, everybody, welcome to Study Abroad 101. We also have them every Wednesday and Friday over Zoom, if you guys want to go over it again. And if you could go. Yeah. Just an overview of what we'll be covering in this presentation. Why participate in a global education program, types of global education program that we have to offer, eligibility and earning credit, what kind of housing is offered, funding and scholarship opportunities, and what next steps you should be taking.
All right, so to start off on why you should participate in a global education program, next slide, please. There's 3 main reasons. Of course, there's many that come with it, but the top 3 are to broaden your perspective. So when you go to a new country, like they were all saying before, it's going to open your eyes to different cultures, and you're going to be exposed to new ways that people think and ways of life. Like how they said with the work environment, it's much more relaxed. You'll experience different things like that during your time abroad. The second reason is to grow your independence. With the metro, getting groceries in a new country, all the small things to anything large, you're going to become a very independent person. And this will help you move forward in your future and be the best version of yourself. And you also can become who you want to be while you're abroad. So you're completely independent and by yourself. There's no family impacting any of your decisions. And so this truly helps you shape who you want to be. And the last one is to be more competitive. As someone that has studied abroad, you will have a much higher chance of receiving a job after graduation. It's something that puts you apart in the job market, and companies know that they can rely on you if they need to do something fast. You've been in difficult situations, and so you will stand out on your resume.
Okay, so you can have a global education experience for research, internship, service learning, online global learning, or you could do a more traditional form of study abroad. We'll go over all of that in the next few slides.
Okay, so at ASU, we have over 300 programs, and these are in 65 countries in all 7 continents. So if there's anywhere you want to go in the world, we have it. And also all of our programs range from 1 week to 1 year. So this really gives you the flexibility. If you're someone that doesn't think they want to go for a full year, you can do a shorter term program. And if you're someone that knows you want to leave and go somewhere else, then you can do that. And also with this, you have the opportunity to do as many study abroad experiences or global education experiences during your time at ASU. So if you want to go on 4, you can do that, which is great. And it makes it, we really want everyone at ASU to be able to study abroad. The most important thing I would say to take a picture of is our application deadlines. For the fall or the winter, pre-spring and spring programs, that will always be September 25th. November 15th is for our spring break and post-spring programs. Although it just passed, you can always check if there's any that had the application deadline postponed, because sometimes we do push them. And then March 1st is going to be summer, pre-fall, fall, and then that academic year. So these are really important just to pay attention to. And then as for our fall programs, those will be opening up within the next month. So you guys can start applying for those.
About the eligibility requirements, so you need to have a GPA of 2.0 or higher. To apply for our programs, you need to be a degree-seeking student and in good standing with the ASU Code of Conduct. Some other requirements also vary program to program. For some programs, you would need to have some language proficiency. For others, you need to have taken some prerequisite courses. So it totally depends on what course you want to do.
And then it's super important to note that all the credits that you take will count towards your GPA. So if you get an A in the country that you're going to get an A here. If you fail a class, you will fail the class on your transcript at ASU. So just remember, it is a study abroad. Your grades do count. But with that, that also means that you will be staying on track towards graduation. So study abroad is not going to hinder your progress. It's going to help you. And you can always look and see what courses are going to be offered before you go to make sure you're registering for the right classes like you would when you attend ASU. And this also allows you to maintain your honors status if you guys are in Barrett, and also keep your scholarships. So you can keep any scholarship that you have, and they can also be applied to your study abroad programs.
Yeah, and just to add to it, even if you do a study abroad program for something that's not related to your major, you'll still stay on track for graduation because we all have electives to knock out. So you can always do that. Okay, next slide. About the housing offered abroad. So we have 4 options. We have homestays, off-campus apartments, on-campus residence halls, hotels, and hostels. So we ask our students to set realistic expectations. For example, if you're going to France, you can't expect to have an apartment that opens up to a view of Eiffel Tower. And we also ask you to check the program brochure page because it tells you what specific housing is offered for that program.
And then typically for the shorter term programs, you're going to be in either a homestay or a hostel or hotel. Some of them you can get an off-campus or an on-campus apartment if it's like an 8-week long summer program. And then if you're doing those longer term programs, you're always either going to be in an on or off-campus residence hall or apartment, and then homestay is another option. So those are the 3. And you can like mix and match if you're there for a whole year. I did an apartment, and then I stayed with a host family for my second semester. So I was able to do both. Okay, we can do the next slide. All right, and now we're going to be talking about the upcoming Cronkite programs. One thing that I want to note is there's also others on our website. These are just the ones that we're going to be focusing on, geared towards you guys. So we can do the next slide. The first one is ASU Cannes in the Lyon Festival of Creativity. So this is going to be in the south of France, June 17th to June 24th. And you will be able to interact with different companies. If you're wanting a career in marketing, advertising, branding, communications, or PR, then this is a great program for you. We actually have a vlog, and I don't know if it's been posted yet, from a student this summer, and she shared her experience with all the companies that she was able to meet up with and go to panels about, and there's just really cool opportunities there. Pinterest was there, I believe. There's all the main companies, they are there. And then you'll be able to attend the Festival of Creativity, engage in workshops, and talk with other leaders and experts in your major or the field that you're wanting to go to. So this is a great opportunity just to learn about your options for the future. For this, you have 2 different options for which credit you want to receive. You can either get credit for marketing 494 or for the JMC 494. So for whichever one applies to your major, definitely you will sign up for that class.
Next. Okay, the next one is in Cuba. It's the ASU Media Culture Society in Cuba. So the program dates are May 22nd to May 31st. Just a program overview. So you learn about Cuba's culture, history, development, society, and relations with the US. You also get to visit like various organizations. Unfortunately, in this program, you wouldn't have an option. So you'll have to take the MCO 494 credit. Yeah.
And then the last program is one of our longer programs for the summer for the Cronkite students. This is called Global Flex, which is a really cool opportunity. There's 2 different blocks for this session. So what that means is you can either take just the first block, and just the second block, or you can do both blocks. So you could stay there the entire summer or just part of the summer, whichever works for you. And those dates are listed above. For this, you can choose to either be fully online in the country that you're going to, or do a mix between an online and in person, which is a great opportunity to sign up for the classes that you need. And it's a little bit more flexible. So if there's a course that you know you need to take this summer, you can also take it online in another country. With this, you'll get to choose between Berlin or Dublin, and you'll get to explore your host city and country with other excursions and activities that are planned. Also, I want to note that even if it is online, you're not going to be stuck in your apartment. You will be going with one of our host companies, and so you'll be interacting with other students there. So you're not just going to be an online student the whole time. And then for this, you can receive the JMC 484 or MCO 484 internship credit. And then you have the opportunity to earn anywhere from 3 to 6 credits of in-person courses. And then you can take a full course load of Cronkite I courses. So you can load up and get a bunch of credits done this summer in a different country. So those are the 3 that we have. But again, you can always look on our website to see what other programs that we offer during the year, as well as during the summer and those session breaks.
Okay, about funding your program. Many students think they can afford to go study abroad, but that's obviously a myth. ASU students receive over $1.4 million in scholarships and grants annually, and sometimes it can cost even less than what you pay here at ASU. And how that works is, for example, if you decide to go, let's say, to an Asian country or South America, you'll be paying less in housing than you pay here. So that's a really great option. And okay. This is our scholarship brochure. It's also on our website. If you guys want to click a picture, you can. It just talks about what scholarships apply to different types of programs.
I just want to note that I would definitely take a picture of this. That's the most important. And I was actually on the phone with the mom last week, and she was like, oh, I want my daughter to study abroad, but my husband just knew it was going to be like $4,000 more per semester for her to study abroad. And I was like, are you guys out of state? Yes. And she actually was going to be saving over $10,000 for one semester to study abroad in a different country, because her scholarship covered almost the majority of the program fee. And her parents were like, you're going, like, you can do 2 years if you want. So it's a great opportunity. Definitely look into different programs and compare the costs. One thing that I want to mention, since we didn't talk about it here, if you sign up for a semester program and you're an out-of-state student, I highly recommend looking at partnership programs, because that takes away your normal ASU tuition and instead you're paying whatever that program fee is. And then if you're an in-state student, exchange programs are typically the cheapest because you're paying your normal ASU tuition. So those are 2 options. And then again, with those summer ones, the prices are pretty cheap because you get up to 6 credits during that time. So they're very affordable options, and look at which scholarships are there. And then as for other options on how to finance your study abroad, we have a Financing Your Global Education program workshop every other Thursday. I believe we have one more for this semester. So if you guys want to attend one, I highly recommend. We'll go over all the different ways that you can earn money. So whether that's from ASU scholarships, scholarships from Cronkite, or if you're in another major as well as third-party scholarships, and then like crowdfunding, different resources like that. So we'll talk about all of those. And then again, it just dives deeper into how you can fund your program.
Yeah, I think we have one today.
Okay,
Yeah.
so attend later.
Yeah, so just a shout out to all our social media. Also, yeah, if you guys haven't checked like our WordPress account, it's really amazing. We have some really great blogs on it. The last one I read was like how to be vegan abroad, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, so that's it for our presentation. If you guys ever have questions, we're located, just kidding, it's not almost, but we are located in the Student Services building at the Tempe campus. And then we also have our email, and you can call us anytime and we'll be available. You can go through that.
Yeah. Just to go over what next steps you should be taking after this presentation. So you can always book like one-on-one peer advising with our office, and me or one of my colleagues is just going to sit down with you and talk about all the programs that align with your major. You can also book an appointment with your academic advisor and go through all the classes offered in that program. And they'll be able to help you choose the classes that go best with your major map. Yeah, you can start researching programs on our website. That's goglobal.asu.edu, and attend a Financing Your Global Education Program workshop. I would say it's better to hop onto the the scholarship part before, because the deadlines differ. The scholarship deadline could be it's different from the application deadline.
Yes, and then if anyone has questions, you can either ask them now, or we'll also be located, I forget what this road is called. We're outside of Cronkite. We're going to be tabling for the next few hours. So if you guys have any questions, we'll be available there as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and for those of you who lingered around, that concludes our program. But if you have any questions, my office is in 4:30 here in the Cronkite School, so you can always come to ask me questions about study abroad or any international programs. Karen is right here with a really good view of Phoenix. So if you need anything, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for the events team and CSIT and the Cronkite Global team for putting this together. Thanks, guys.